Thank you, Deep-Roy Clywyd. As you know, I have spoken many times in this chamber about my concerns that community assets are not being sufficiently protected, and that the Welsh Government is failing communities by not empowering them enough to be able to take over assets that they value and ensure that they survive for the good of the community. Sadly, we are facing an unprecedented loss of those places that communities across Wales have valued for generations, those places that they feel are very much part of their identity and their local history, and they're losing them because even if they were in a position to purchase them, they face, as the Institute of Welsh Affairs has described, an arduous and demoralising process, a single asset transfer mechanism. As we have seen, local authorities lack the capacity to deal with the complexities and the legality of asset transfers. Communities are not encouraged or given the confidence or professional support to develop the skills that are necessary to run these assets, and so they're more often than not left with no choice but to watch their beloved buildings either deteriorate and crumble into nothingness, or to be snapped up and demolished in the name of progress and regeneration. The IWA reports that, and I quote, "The Welsh Government's own research showed that only a handful of local authorities actually had a dedicated person for community asset transfers." And the stories we got when we spoke to communities were really negative. They often said that there wasn't a clear process and practice for community asset transfers. Since the Welsh Government were well aware of this and have made little to no effort to change and improve these processes, or to encourage local authorities to do so, it shows that the Welsh Labour Government really doesn't care about it. The sad truth is that the Welsh Labour Party are devoid of ideas or motivation on this subject. They will not introduce legislation in Wales that is shown to be successful in England or Scotland, and will choose instead to create and repeat a narrative of failure in Wales, passing the blame yet again to...
Joel, an intervention?
Yeah.
On that point, are you aware that the first community enterprise in Europe was established in Llanel Heian, under Ail Heian, under the late great Carl Claus, a fantastic organisation, and the first community-run pub was Tafern y Vic, Llythfaen, both in my constituency. So we've got a long and proud record of developing community enterprises that we should be growing and developing. And isn't it a shame that while the Welsh Government promised pre-2016 to develop a framework around empowering communities, that we're still waiting for legislation on this, and they should really shape up with bringing something forward?
Yep, no, I fully agree with Mabin's comments there. You know, unfortunately, it's left to the individuals, the select few, to try and push for these buildings to be saved, when really they should be getting the support from the government to do it. But as we've seen, you know, it's yet again an example of passing the blame to Westminster and claim they've not been given the resources to do it. And I'm sure many people here will believe the Welsh Government purposely takes a different policy direction to the UK Government, even though we face many of the same challenges, to not only try and justify its own existence, but to foster an anti-Conservative UK Government settlement. And so finally, Clywyd, I would like to say that our communities deserve so much better than this Welsh Government. It is a travesty that the devolved government we suffer from means that local communities are not empowered enough to save those places that matter so much to them, and that the processes of taking ownership and stopping community assets from being lost are far too difficult for many to achieve. I therefore hope that everyone here will support the motion raised by Darren Millar. Thank you.